Hello fellow YouTubers, it is 7:36 p.m. June 7th, 2018. It's a Thursday here in Virginia, and I decided I didn't want to watch Jeopardy. I came out and sat on the porch. It's beautiful outside today, low humidity. And what I want to talk about today is how in another video I showed how to pronounce the 50 states of the United States. In this one I want to talk about, I've memorized all 50. I can recite them in order, alphabetically, forward and backward. It's not that hard. It sounds daunting at first to do that, but once I broke down a few things, I found out it came really quickly. Even easier than the 45 presidents, much easier actually. But the first thing you think about is that the alphabet is 26 letters, and M and N is the dividing line. So in other words, 1 through 13 is A through M, and then 14 through 13 is N through Z. And that's the halfway point. That really helps a lot, because the second thing you want to know about the U.S. states is that 8 of the states begin with the letter M, and 8 of the states begin with the letter N. So literally 16, almost a third of the states begin with M or N, 16 of 50. So almost at 1/3. So once you realize that, you go, okay. And then another thing to recognize is that there's no states that end in X, Y, or Z. I mean, no states that begin with X, Y, or Z. There's no states that begin with J or B. Might be. And X. I'm trying to think if there are any other letters. So when you factor all that in, you see that for all the other letters, there's only a few for each state. So the first 4 are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, and Arkansas. And what I do is I go AL, AL, AR, and AR. That's the way I think of it. Then there's none for B. And then there's 3 C's. There's California, Colorado, Connecticut. And once again, you got a CA and 2 COs. Now this is interesting. There's only one that begins with D. There's no letters that begin with E. There's no states that begin with E. There's one with F and one with G. So Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii. Okay? So boom, we're up to 11 states now. Now after that there's I's. And that's Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. So ID, IL, IN, IO. Once again, that's the way I think of it, those first 2 letters. J, there's none. K, there's 2, Kansas, Kentucky. L, there's only 1, Louisiana. And now we're up to the M's and the N's. And remember, there's 16 states that begin with M and N. We've only done, so far, 18 states. So we're already to that point. And then you just need to memorize those M's and N's cold, because you can get confused with them. But let's see, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts. Let me see, I'm doing them on my head here. Minnesota, Mississippi. No, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana. So there's 4 MIs there, and Montana's the 8th. So then you go to so there's 26 that begin with A through M, and then there'll be 24 that begin with N through Z. So see how I'm breaking this down? I'm kind of a numbers person. Now, the N's, you got the 2 NEs, Nebraska and Nevada, and then you have the 4 News. So think of it that way: New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, and then you got the 2 Norths, North Carolina, North Dakota. So boom, there's that. Now, you've already done 34 states. There's only 16 to go from here out. So that's the way to think of it. From O to Z, there's only 16 states. So O, you got 3. You got Ohio, Oklahoma, and Oregon. And then P, there's only 1, Pennsylvania, no Q's. R, there's only Rhode Island. There's only 2 S's, believe it or not. South Carolina and South Dakota. And even more remarkable, there's only 1, well no, I'm sorry, there's 2 T's. Tennessee and Texas. So there's 2, but 2 S's, 2 T's. Isn't that kind of surprising? 1 U, that's Utah. 2 V's, Vermont and Virginia. Yay for us, yay for Virginia. And then you've got your W's left, which is Washington, West Virginia, Wyoming, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. And that's it. So really, if you're, and then once you start doing it backwards, practicing doing it backwards, twice as much as you do it forward, it should even out for you. That's what I found a good rule is. Do your list twice as much backwards, or even 3 times as much backwards, and then it'll start to even out, because for some reason, I guess it's because we've always learned that way, you almost always do better going forward. But that's it. Just practice, break it down in those little subgroups like that, and you'll have this one in no time. You really will. I mean, it didn't take me long to learn them at all. Okay, that's all for Virginia for now. Thank you.